What's up, everybody? Last video we left off with the first half of Ghostrunner 1, just finishing up the first boss, Tom, and that was a great fight and everything. And now I've played the second part of the game, and that's what this video is obviously about. And what the fuck? What happened to this game? Because the first half was pretty strong. It was fun learning all this different shit, working your way through the levels. And now the second part is just absolute dog shit. So let me explain. According to Ghostrunner's Steam page, Ghostrunner offers a unique single-player experience, fast-paced, violent combat in an original setting that blends science fiction with post-apocalyptic themes. It tells the story of a world that has already ended and its inhabitants who fight to survive. Now that I'm looking at that, where the fuck does that say it is a puzzler? Alright, popular user-defined tags for this product: action, cyberpunk, fast-paced, first-person. Do I see any puzzling? No. So why is the fucking second half of the game just feel like a giant puzzle filled with middling, slow-paced, no action, boring ass fucking level design, as well as literally just running around hitting different checkpoints, collecting orbs so you can power up? It is so fucking lame. This was already a problem with the first half of the game, but because the boss fight was good and because you were actually learning, it doesn't feel too bad. And those spaces actually give you opportunity to recollect what actually happens so you have, enough knowledge to actually think on it. Now that I know how to play the game though, I'm not failing parkour levels. I'm not failing to collect orbs that are right fucking in front of me. One of the levels was literally just run through doors until you magically appear before another orb so that you can collect all 5 orbs to move on to the next room. You can't dash. There's no real jumping. You literally just run through doors until you go through the right magical door to find what you need. It is so lame, and I don't even understand how that fits into this game. And the mid-off does not even fucking stop there because the bosses. Ugh. So Tom, I love Tom because those lasers made you actually scared. They made you work quick, not a lot of thinking. But what the fuck are these bosses? We have Hell, who is literally just tap parry over and over and over and over until you can hit her. It is so lame. You don't even have to parry at a perfect time because if you miss the parry, you're going to swing and hit her and then you just restart her attack combo. You don't die for hitting her, nothing matters. And then she just runs away and you do some really basic ass parkour to get to her and do the same thing over. She kind of changes up her moves, but really she just changes up one. It is so easy to get the timing down. I think I died probably less than 10 times. It is so brain dead and not even really a boss fight. It's just a harder enemy. I struggled on groups of enemies more than I actually struggled on the actual boss, which is just so lame. The third boss of the game I also played through, and it is Mara, and she is just a bunk-ass Dollar General looking Dr. Octopus, alright? What the hell is the fight too? The whole time you just dodge her arms, which can be difficult at first when you realize how to dodge each arm because there's only 3 attacks. You get it down pretty quick. Everything is slow and it all gives you time to figure it out. And then when you reach a certain amount of dodges, the floor starts to turning to lightning, so you dodge that, and then the whole floor turns, so you just jump into the air and circle her using wall rides. What? There's no skill into that. You just wait till it's about to kill you, jump up there, and just wall run the whole time. You don't have to worry about anything else because she can't hit you up there. You're literally just dodging the floor by being in the air. And then she's going to shoot her tentacles at you, and you just wait for one to catch into these little outlets, which took a little bit for me to realize what I was supposed to do, but it's not a bad mechanic. It's just kind of boring. You dodge it so that it gets stuck and then you just chop it off. Do that 3 times and you win. For how hyped Mara was, it's like a pathetic ass boss fight. Because the whole time, everybody's telling you she's the evil baddie. The climbers are telling you that. The voice in your head screaming at you to go kill her is telling you that, she's powerful. She wiped out all these different Ghostrunners. And then it's just easy to take her down with one single Ghostrunner. Replaying her, I bet I could beat her first try without even dying because it's really just like, oh, you learn this mechanic. Great, now it won't happen again. You're just memorizing how to actually fight her. It's not like a real Dark Souls or Souls-like boss in general, where even though you know the patterns and whatnot, you still have to hit these frame perfect dodges, blocking when you need to, and just slowly chipping down. It's literally just, oh, the floor is going to turn to lava. Oh yeah, get into the air and then just wall run. It's not hard. Before we get to the very end of the game, I do want to talk about some of the things I do like. So there's a few new enemies. The sniper is a pretty cool enemy. You basically just have to like dodge him the entire time without getting blasted, and it made for a really hard level. It's the second time you fight that sniper, and you have to fight your way through all those key pistol enemies. That level was actually difficult, and I found it very challenging and rewarding because you had to be so quick. If you paused anywhere that wasn't behind cover, you would just get instantly obliterated. So I enjoyed that a lot. The drones are all right. They're like a mix between parkour and also just deflecting the bullets to kill. They're nothing to write home about. The wardens are pretty lame. You just wait for them to attack and parry. I think they don't really mesh well with the game because the game's about being fast paced and just filled with action. So having to sit there and wait for him to attack, to parry, and then kill doesn't really fit in how I wanted to play the game. It's essentially just how the puzzles work. Just not a nice fit for the game overall. The turrets are pretty much the same thing. You just have to dodge their little spots and slowly take them down. Pretty boring levels. The wrecks are those little suicide bombers, and I don't like them because they make the game lag. I mean, I don't run on the best PC ever, but there's so many of them, they're blowing up that like you don't get good frames around them. There was one level in specific that I guess had so many of them, I was getting like 60 frames in spots. Really not a great spot, but I think it's cool to make you really rush through the levels because if you pause, one of them is going to blow you up. And you also had to take specific passing to dodge all of them because you might dodge the first ones, but then more will come. And if you're in a wrong position, they'll corner you and kill you. So not terrible, just I don't know if it's an optimized problem or they're just bunk as fuck, who knows. The shifters do like a teleporting thing when you get close to them, and I actually enjoy that. You really have to be quick, and oftentimes it forces you to use your ability, which I don't love, but I do think it makes them almost like a mini boss. Kind of made it really difficult to take them out, especially when they were like combined with a bunch of other different enemies. You really had to be on your toes and think about actually attacking them rather than just, oh, parry the bullet, oh, wait for them to shoot, then charge them and kill them. You had to, think about it more than usual. And then the final enemy, the splitter. These guys are actually cool. I enjoyed these. It's it's one enemy and he basically splits off into 5, but there's only one real one you have to kill. The rest are just clones that are like holograms. You hit them and they disappear, and all of them shoot at you, but only one of the bullets can actually kill you. And that's probably my favorite part of them, is I have no idea what the real one is. So all these bullets are hitting me and I think I'm about to die, but then I don't. So I'm like, fuck, hurry up and get the res killed. And you just kind of kill them at random. It's pretty cool. Sometimes it can be really difficult, but sometimes when you just face one, it's really not a problem. There was one spot where you had to face 2 and a warden, and that made it really difficult because there's just so many bullets that you can't dodge them or really deflect them because you don't know which one to actually deflect because only the real one matters. Yeah, that's all the enemies, and like some of them are good and bad, and the good ones pretty much made up the good parts of the levels, but none of them like changed the parkour. So I still don't like these later levels that just have so much endless boring parkour to just help you understand the story because it's just monologuing while you're running around through the world. And of course, none of them are going to help the Cyberforce. The Cyberforce is just so fucking boring. And of course, that's where the final boss takes place, as the architect who is in your head, he's actually a fucking op. All right, you got to spin on that hoe because he was capping. He's evil. He wants to, I don't know, molest you in your fucking oiled up, fast moving pistons. He wants to get all in those nuts and bolts, just grabbing on that cold, firm metal, and so he can go to town on you. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the story because it was boring. But yeah, final boss, he's in Cybervoid, and you actually do get your dash in this, but it is just giant parkour. All right, everything's parkour, but a good parkour because a lot of it has moving parts that do force you to be fast or you'll die. Like the wall running sections where they throw the platforms back at you or have the platforms going forward. Those are cool. The parts where like those killer balls are rolling past through or at you and you have to dodge them through like, oh, here comes 3. You have to go to the 4th slot. Not as cool, especially because they're kind of timed up so that you have to just sit there and wait sometimes before you can move on to the next section. Not a great parkour. I really like the more fast-paced wall running, grappling type shit. Jumping off those like launchers, those orange things that just launch you. Those were cool. You just don't get a lot of that. It's really only in the first half, and it just meets the fast pace. The rest, it doesn't fucking matter. It's just kind of lame. And yeah, that's generally like all I have to say about this game, is that the first half is so fun because you're learning this new style of playing, and it just feels so rewarding to just hit these blocks, hit the nice kill, slash him up, get the dodge, pass the bullet into him, chain together some blinks. It feels so good. Just so satisfying to just slice through these fucking weak ass enemies. But then in the end, it just gets more boring and boring. It's only a 7-hour game, but that last half of the game feels like what the 7 hours is because it's just so slow and boring, and the repetition of it really starts to shine through as you just continue to push through. There's not much variety they can get when they're only adding like one enemy every 2 levels really. And like what can you really do when your parkour is really just wall running and dashing and grappling? There's nothing else really to it. The drones kind of spice that up because you would ride them to the next drone or you'd ride them to a wall run, but you know, it's just not really enough to keep you enthralled when this is supposed to just be ADHD simulator parkour for, you know, those of us who can't help ourselves. That's all I got for Ghost Runner though. It's a mid-level game, probably like a 5 out of 10. But don't worry, we get Dark Souls 2 next. I've been grinding it up, beat like 10 bosses already, so there should be a video out soon for that. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.